Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Concussion Coach podcast. Today is going to be a little bit different of an episode because it's a solo episode. I have to admit that solo episodes are like the bane of my existence. I don't know if that's the right way to put it, but I'm like terrified of doing them for some reason. So maybe this is going to be part of exposure therapy for me and make me just do it because I want to get a podcast out for you guys. And I I don't have anyone scheduled that I have a lot scheduled in the future, but none for this week. So you are getting me this week. And yay for that. I was going to apologize, but I shouldn't apologize for that. So here you go. Seeing me coaching myself through these kinds of things. Um, but I am actually excited about the topic that I want to talk about today. Because it's something that has been coming up a lot in my life and that I've kind of become more aware of. And also in some of the coaching that I've done, I've seen some really powerful insights and aha moments as we discuss this topic. So I'm excited to share it with you today. So basically, the topic is getting our priorities straight and understanding what is really valuable to us, and then making sure that we align our time and our energy and our efforts with those things that matter to us. My grandpa, Jordan, Amos Azariah Jordan, you can Google him. He's so cool. I love him so much. He passed away a few years ago, and he was just had an amazing life. And I am so grateful for him and his example and influence in my life. But he shared a quote. He was interviewed on something near the end of his life. I think he was maybe in his earlier late 90s when he shared this. And it really has just stuck with me. I wrote it down. I think about it regularly, actually. It kind of comes up a lot. So he said that, like, the secret to life, again, coming from a really old, awesome guy, I was like, oh, okay, ears pricked up. I'm listening. He said that the secret is to get your priorities straight and apportion your time accordingly. I'm going to say that again. Get your priorities straight and apportion your time accordingly. So good, right? So I just want us to take a second and think for a minute. If someone who didn't know you saw your day yesterday, watched everything that you did, everything that you spent time and attention on, where you placed your energy and efforts and focus, what would they guess that your priorities are? If they were to look at and see everything that you did, everything that you read, everything that you paid attention to, and the time that you spent on those things, what would they guess as to what was most important to you? I think that's a good kind of like wake up question of like, oh, okay, am I actually living in a way that shows that I care about the things that I think that I care about? Or am I being intentional, basically? Because while it's true, I think that we really do make time for what really matters to us. We also sometimes get in a coasting phase where we're not intentional or really aware of what we're spending our time and efforts on, and we kind of forget about what really matters to us, or we think, oh, those long-term things, those things that are really important, like we push them out to the future, like it's so far away, like it's fine for me to just do this now, which in some cases it's true. Like, sure, we can scroll social media for a little bit, that's fine here and there. But like, is that getting you to who you want to be and where you want to be and with the relationships that you want to have in your life? So just, this is not meant to be like a condemning or guilt trip kind of podcast episode. This is to try to help us to be really intentional and remember the things that matter most. And sometimes, especially, I know my audience, if you're dealing with a brain injury and you need to rest, like taking care of yourself and your own needs and health can be top priority, and that's okay. So it doesn't have to mean that, if we're getting really intentional and setting goals and doing these things, that our time has to be super strict and regimented. But we will be benefited by taking the time and making the intentional effort to focus on the things that matter most to us. So a really good way to do this, really simple, basic, but definitely worth the time and effort, is to figure out what your top priorities are. Like, name them. 5 things. Go ahead and pause this and think about it for a second. What are your top 5 priorities? What really, really matters to you? Get really clear on that. Think about it. write it down. And that in and of itself can be kind of eye-opening. I'm like, oh, wow, these are the things that matter to me. And this is how I'm spending my time. If those don't match, then let's talk about what we can do about that. So take that time, get those priorities straight, figure out what they are, and then figure out how, according to Grandpa, we can apportion our time according to those priorities. So figure out what you need to do to make sure that you're putting in some time to each of those things. And I don't think that necessarily means that like number one priority has the most time in my life, or I spend the most time on that thing. I don't think that's necessarily how we need to play it out, but are we making sure that we are putting some time daily to those things that matter most to us? So make goals if you need to figure out what matters to you, and then figure out what you need to do to better align your time and energy and efforts with those things that mean the most to you. I will, just for funsies, I will share with you the ones, like my list, and it does not have to be your list. Obviously, we are all individuals, and the priorities can shift and adjust as well, I think, over time. Mine are pretty broad, so I feel like they're going to be maybe pretty stable over time, but this is where I'm at right now. I would say, and I think it is helpful to put them in an order within those top five, like what is the order of the things that matter most. So for me, personally, God is number one, and then myself, and then my family, meaning my husband and children, and then loved ones and other people. So like more extended family and people in my community, my friends, those around me within my sphere of influence, or, throughout the world, other people. And then number 5 is work. Those are my priorities that I decided on recently. It's been a little bit, but I just feel like having that structure or like that awareness of these are the things that matter to me has been really, really helpful. And then I actually just today spent some time going through each of those. Like I kind of put them at the top of a paper, and then underneath each I wrote kind of the 5 ways that I make sure that I am putting those things first in my life, so that, or like ways that I can align myself with those. So it was honestly, it was an interesting process for me to write those out. Again, God, me, family, loved ones, work. Because putting myself second to God, I almost felt bad. Like I think family should be first, right? Or whatever. But I realized that for me, the reason this makes sense is that if I'm not taking care of myself, then I don't have a substance from which to give my family. You can't pour from an empty vessel, right? So I need to have my myself, my health, my physical, social, emotional, intellectual, spiritual cups filled in order to be able to best serve my family, those around me, and those that I'm serving through my work as well. And God is really, truly like the source of all of my energy and effort and any goodness and light in my life that I rely on completely. So he's number 1, and then me, and then time with my husband, with each child. These are things that as I was doing this exercise earlier today, I was like, oh, I want to be better at being very intentional about the time that I'm spending with each of individuals within my family. But all of those things. Anyway, I could go through all of them. I'm not going to bore you with that, but really like figuring out what matters and recognizing, okay, am I giving time and attention and effort to the things that truly matter most to me? If we can do that, then even if we don't get all of the things done on our to-do list, even if we're totally overwhelmed and we feel like we're not accomplishing all of the things, if we can look at the day and be like, okay, but I was spending time, at least a little bit of time, on the things that matter most. I'm moving the needle forward, even if it's like the tiniest amount, that it still helps us to feel better, and like we're aligning ourselves with who we want to be. And that really is a very helpful way to be at peace with ourselves and feel like we're showing up how we want to in our lives. So there you go. This is short and sweet, just some thoughts. I hope that it's helpful for somebody. I would love to hear anything that you learned from this, or learned from the exercise of writing down the things that is important to you, like doing this exercise. So please feel free to reach out to me. I also want to let you know that I have a freebie that I created and is on my website, and you are welcome to grab it. It's the 5 ways that loved ones can best support their loved one dealing with a concussion. So go ahead and go to my website, www.theconcussioncoach.com, and you can sign up for that. And I hope that you are having a fantastic day. Get your priorities straight and apportion your time accordingly, guys. You've got this.